Many people ask themselves, why am I training and putting in so much effort, but I feel hungry and exhausted all the time? You might think you may need more motivation or more discipline, but sometimes the actual answer and the real issue is you aren't getting enough energy in your body to fuel your workouts. Have you skipped a meal to lose weight, or you train all the time and you train really hard, but it feels like you're always sore and never progressing in the gym? Well, underfueling doesn't happen on purpose. Some common signs of underfueling are feeling tired all the time, starving, brain fog, constant hunger and cravings. An inadequate energy intake can affect both your performance and your overall health. It can reduce your fat-free mass, compromise your immune function, decrease bone density, and increase your risk of injury, resulting in more overtraining symptoms. If your energy intake is too low for a long period of time, your body cannot support your training and your everyday function. So the body can start minimizing its daily functions, including your hormone production. Now, here is a simple way that you can look at your plate and visualize fueling your body through it. We do not want to cut out any food groups, and we want to have a focus on your protein intake and your carbohydrate intake. The aim is to build a meal that is balanced and has fats, carbs, protein, and vegetables included. This will help replenish your energy stores that are used in training and everyday life. Carbs are essential for energy, protein is essential for muscle replenishment, and fats are essential for your hormones. Now, the goal isn't to eat clean, it's to eat in a balanced way that's going to support your training. When energy intake is too low and you have less carbohydrates in your body, the body cannot fuel the muscles and it needs to replenish its muscle glycogen stores. Carbohydrates are our main fuel source for high intensity exercise, and when our stores are low, it's harder to maintain intensity, push to a fatigue, and recover well after the session. So not only will you feel tired, but your training will suffer from a performance point of view and a recovery point of view. You're probably asking, why does this happen? And the body is simply trying to prioritize survival. When there is not enough energy coming into the body, it needs to prioritize the essential functions that it has. It's not worrying about your recovery or your training. That's a supplementary thing to simply living. So then the body down regulates its energy expenditure, which can have a negative response in your fat loss process. Your body is generally burning less as it's trying to function properly. And this is why underfueling affects more than just your workout. Over time, it reduces your muscle glycogen availability, limits your muscle repair, and affects your long-term health, as well as your training. Whole grain foods such as brown rice, quinoa, and multigrain bread provide a more sustaining energy and fiber, while the refined options are less fulfilling and can drain our energy. These are the whole foods that we want to focus on for having before your training sessions. Muscle glycogen and blood glucose are essential for active muscles, and during exercise, muscle glycogen is our main fuel source. When glycogen stores are low, it is hard for us to push our training intensity. So these are the sources that we want to be having before a session. And you can mix and match a few together, but you just don't want to fill up so much that you're pushing yourself in training and feeling sick. Now, post-workout, we want to be having a protein source and a carb source to replenish the muscles after our session. Protein doesn't have to be directly after a workout, as long as your overall intake across your whole day is adequate. It can be good to have it in there as you're typically a little bit more hungry, and pairing your carbohydrates with your protein can help satiety. Carbohydrates are essential for after your workout to replenish that muscle glycogen that you've just lost. You will find that after a workout, you can typically be a bit more hungry, typically 30 minutes to 60 minutes after your workout. Now, you may be worried about, oh, if I eat, then I've just put on all the calories that I've just lost. That simply shouldn't matter, because we are still burning the same amount of energy across the day, as long as your intake is still within your range. It doesn't matter if you eat directly after a workout, 60 minutes later, 2 hours later, it won't directly affect the calories that you've burned, as long as you are still maintaining a calorie deficit if you're in a fat loss phase. In a surplus phase, it's even more essential to place your carbohydrates around your training so you can utilize them really well for that training session. Now, here are some ways to support your training with some practical tips. Plan your meals out in advance to prevent your energy drops throughout the day. Reduce long gaps in your days without food. Then make sure you're centering your carbs around your training session so you can fuel your workouts adequately. And spread your protein out across the day. You don't need to center it all around your workout. This will help with satiety and is better to support your recovery long term. While caffeine can be useful, it should be in addition to a well-fueled diet and not in replacement of food ever. It should simply be a supplement that gives you a little bit of a boost, not relying on your main energy source for the day. Now, the biggest takeaway from this is do not fear carbs and do not fear food around your training sessions. This is going to help you push further and get you more developed in your training. The biggest difference you'll feel is your energy. So start fueling your body and your training sessions and your long-term health will improve. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and you learned something.